welcome back to That's Life with John Carver. This is episode number 266. And I'm calling this episode Must Go Faster. Must Go Faster. If you're old enough to remember the movie Jurassic Park way back in 1993, the character Ian Malcolm found himself sitting in a Jeep and in Jurassic Park, and he felt this tremor. And in the movie you could see the puddles of water ripple a little bit. And the character in this movie knew that these were called impact tremors. So he realized, based on his experience and his knowledge, that a dinosaur was heading his way. So he called to his cohorts and encouraged them very briskly to get into the Jeep that they were riding in and to get out of there. So they got in the Jeep, and the character Malcolm was facing to the back of the Jeep. And then all of a sudden this dinosaur comes crashing through the trees. So Ian looked to his left to the driver and said very sternly, "Must go faster." If you remember that scene, it's a great scene. So the dinosaur got closer, and the dinosaur was close enough to bump the Jeep a little bit to kind of wreck the Jeep. Thankfully, the people in the Jeep got away. And I think that this is a metaphor. I love metaphors because they have a great way to share stories and concepts and ideas. That Malcolm, who was actually using the metaphor in the driver's seat, but he really wasn't in the driver's seat, but the driver was accountable to Malcolm, because Malcolm could see things fairly well, actually very well, that the driver couldn't see because the driver was facing in another direction. And I think there's some power, in fact I know there's some power gained when you and I place ourselves in an accountable position to ethical, honest, successful people in our lives. Most people who put themselves into an accountable position understand that their speed that they travel to do things and to get things accomplished go up considerably when they're accountable to other people. If you look at the Olympics, every Olympian has a coach. There's high standards that these athletes have to meet consistently, so the athlete is accountable to the coach all the time. So accountability, if you think about it this way, accountability creates speed. In your own life, I'm sure you've had situations and moments in your life when you didn't feel like doing anything. You didn't feel like getting up and doing what you needed to do. But when you had somebody that was pulling and pushing you to do it, you tended to get things done a lot more quickly. In some organizations, there's people called board of directors. Why? Well, there's some sort of accountability that goes with having a board of directors. So it would be wise, and it is wise for very successful people, to create in their lives a board of directors. Maybe not officially, but unofficially, to keep them accountable, to keep them moving forward. So what if you've designed your life in a way that you forced yourself to be accountable to a few successful people to keep you doing the right things at the right time when you really didn't feel like doing the right things at the right time? I've done this in my own life for decades, and it's produced some pretty good results. But there's also a risk for some people when they place themselves in an accountable position. They then, if they're smart, have to show results consistently to those, so there can be no excuses. Now my wife and I, we exercise every day, every morning, and for a long time my wife walks about 8 to 10 miles a day. Now she's recently cut that back in mid-2021, but for quite a while she was doing about 10 miles a day. And I was doing and have been doing a little less than half of that. But when I'm walking with Tammy, I tend to walk a little faster because her speed is faster than mine. So I'm maybe unconsciously or consciously accountable to her speed. Former basketball player Joe Dumars wrote, he says, "On good teams, coaches hold players accountable, But on great teams, players hold players accountable. So if you place yourself on teams, and I'm using the term in quotes, people in your life will hold you accountable, and then you can hold other people accountable as well. So most people don't have the sense of urgency, but being accountable to other people gives you a sense of urgency, which is accountable, which is incredibly important in life. So finally, stay away from people that want to waste your time and your energy, because you only get one chance in this life. So I've said it probably 10 times already in the show, but make yourself accountable to others. Must go faster. My name is John Carver. Thanks for watching.